Oh, you can videotape me on that little thing?
That's my backup, yeah.
Oh, all right, okay. Well, for the better part of the last 30 years, I've worked as a conceptual artist for the military, defense, aerospace companies and things like that. And I've seen all kinds of stuff, you know, a lot of stuff people don't even know about. And from the best of the sources that I've been able to talk to, stories like the business with Roswell, all that stuff really happened. And Lockheed Corporation was a company that was able to do the first rudimentary back engineering of the technology. They fielded the first prototype in the mid-1960s. There were photographs of it taken. There are people all over the Southwest, around Edwards Air Force Base, other places that have seen the thing. And it eventually became known as the Alien Reproduction Vehicle. I've been on the Art Bell program, both with Art Bell and with George on a couple occasions. I was one of the witnesses in the Disclosure Project. The reason I came over to talk to you wasn't so much to talk about myself, but to tell you about what's happening right now, right this minute, out in the little community of Igo that's about 10 miles southwest of here.
And where are we?
We're in Redding, California. And there is, during the course of my appearances on Art Bell's program and on YouTube, or not YouTube, but George Norrie's program, I got several letters from people who'd listened to the program and said, I used to live in Red Bluff, or I live in Red Bluff, which is about 30 minutes south of Redding. And there is a mountain that is due west of Red Bluffs called Tom's Head Mountain. And every one of these letters from people who didn't know one another, they all said there is a UFO base under Tom's Head Mountain. And I thought it was kind of strange until I actually met one of these people and they showed me photographs of these big black lens-shaped UFOs that are out in the woods doing what looks like a biological survey of all the vegetation, the animals. They have these little red orbs that come out and scan the plants and stuff. I mean, it's really bizarre. This guy had photographs.
Are they the same type of orbs that you see at crop circles?
Well, these were bright red. They looked like a red glowing ball, maybe about the size of a softball that would move around, like little drones, you know, that would go out and analyze stuff. Anyhow, so that all sounded well and good. I mean, you know, Polaroid photograph of UFO, you know, those things can be faked. But over the last 2 years or so, a friend of mine who used to be a counter person working over here at Craig and Auto Parts, he lives in Igo, which is, like I said, 10 miles southwest of here. And he indicated that over the course of last summer, he kept seeing these brilliant flashes in the sky, like an explosion, but there was no sound. And most of them he saw south of where he lives that appeared to be between the community of Red Bluff and Tom's Head Mountain. And so he said that in the last 2 weeks, this same phenomenon is happening again, but now it's moved north and it's generally right in the area of this community out here in Igo. And he indicated that over the last 4 nights in a row, he's seen at least 2 a night. The night before last, he saw 4 right in a row. And in several instances, he's actually continued to watch that spot in the sky where the flash occurred. And that shortly after the flash happened, there would be an object, some sort of object would suddenly streak away from that spot in the sky at tremendous velocity. Now, I saw one of these flashes the other night east of here over the community of Palisadro, and it's hard to describe. It's like a brilliant but very, very large strobe light going off. It's a hard, white, brilliant light with sort of jagged edges, and almost like somebody flashing a flash cube right in your eyes. But it's extreme altitude. But he said that the things that he's seen over the last few days out in that community are so close that it would be the same as, say, a 3-inch circle held at arm's length, is as close as he's described these things. And so I thought that you sort of cataloging life in the United States with your cameras and your bike and your riding and so forth, that is something you might want to see.
Sounds very interesting. Would you like to take me out there tomorrow?
Well, I'm going out there tomorrow, and I'll be heading out there around sunset, about this time of the evening. And I don't think that my friend would have any objection to my bringing you along. I'm going to be bringing a video camera of my own and a camera and a tripod and some film, hoping to record some of this. But one of the other things that I investigated in the course of researching all of this stuff was that I tried to look at the whole alien abduction phenomenon. You've heard of that, I'm sure. And it occurred to me that if any of those people, any of them at all, if they were telling the truth, and they really had been taken up in these spacecraft, that there was a possibility, however slim, that they might have seen some propulsion system components. And the thing that was really startling to me was that several of these people, without any prompting at all from me, correctly identified the shape, the relative size, and position of components that I know to be actual parts of these systems from what I've seen in my own work. So that was rather startling by itself. But the other thing that happened was that one of these young ladies that I interviewed had a number of these implants that were inside their ears, behind the eardrum, almost like a substitute for the inner ear. One of the ladies had a clinically documented ability to hear at frequencies higher than even a dog can hear. And she said that whenever those little people from wherever they're, those entities, those extraterrestrials, whoever they are, whenever they would come to visit her, one of these things that was in her ear would go off 24 hours in advance as a kind of a warning to let her know they were coming. And so we made an agreement that when this happened, she would call me up and I would go over to her house. So nothing happened all night long, but early the next morning, something did happen, and I was completely paralyzed and unable to move, and she was around the corner going through this communication with a pair of these extraterrestrials. But the thing that preceded that, as they were sort of teleporting into her house, was that every dog in the neighborhood began barking simultaneously. They all started abruptly at the same moment, lasted for exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then stopped, like someone had thrown a switch and turned it off. And an hour later, when they left, the same thing repeated. It happened exactly the same way again. Well, now, my friend, this fellow that lives out in Igo, that told me about this, without my ever sharing that information with him, he told me just today at lunch that it was really weird because last night, or the night before last, that every dog in the neighborhood, including all the coyotes, all began howling at the same instant, all at the same time. As far as the ear could hear, in any direction, all the dogs in the neighborhood began howling, and that lasted for 1 minute and 30 seconds, stopped abruptly like someone had turned off a recording. And when I told him, you know, my previous experience, he was rather startled by that. So that's a suggestion to me that there may be some kind of other phenomenon that's occurring out in that area. So if you're interested, I'd be happy to take you out there.
Yeah, I'm going to turn this off now, and then we'll do the how to do that.
Okay.
Oh, first, how old are you and what's your name?
I'm 55 years old. My name is Mark McCandlish, and if you Google my name on the net, you'll find more information that you'd ever want to know.
Spell that for us.
It's Mark, M-A-R-K, McCandlish, M, small c, capital C, A-N-D-L-I-S-H.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.